Hello everybody, welcome! Thanks for coming out on this lovely old rainy day, but we're so glad that you came out today and we're really happy. So welcome once again to another event of those thrilling days of yesteryear, a live recreation of some of your favorite shows from the golden age of radio. Now, in the world of old-time radio, when there was a crime, there was always a man who would solve it. Be it the Thin Man or the Fat Man, a Sherlock Holmes or a Sam Spade, from the streets of Dragnet to the big town, to Wandering the Night Beat, and more. And yeah, there were women, and they appeared as very supporting roles in these tales. You know, the Dizzy Dame, the Femme Fatale, the Helpless Honey, the Scrumptious Starlet, the Sweet Secretary, or the Damsel in Distress.
But there were also some amazing women who were strong, clever, unstoppable, and independent. Women solved crimes on their own. And in these shows, it was clear that anything the men could do, the girls could do just as well, and sometimes even better.
Ben, what are you doing?
Oh, I'm just reminding you and everyone that women can do just as much as men can. Sometimes even better.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Oh.
In fact, I bet I could introduce this show just as well as you can.
Oh, you do you?
Mm-hmm. Perhaps even better. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Should I introduce today's show?
All right, you win. Go ahead, go for it. Show us what you got.
All right, Dooley. As I was saying, even back in the golden age of radio, there were strong, tough, smart, and sassy women who solved crime as good as any man. The first of such women was Phil Coe. She wasted no time exploring and hunting around for clues, but would solve her crimes right then and there. For example, in the first show of the series, The Case of the Dead Magician, originally aired January 29, 1936, a magician is killed on stage during the show, and Phil has a front row seat. Using her wits and keen sense of observation, she solves the crime in less than 15 minutes. Now, the question is, can you solve it before she does? Then there is Policewoman, a dramatization of actual cases solved by real police lieutenant Mary Sullivan. She had worked the beat for many years and had solved many crimes and put many criminals to justice. It was sort of a dragnet for women, showing just how strong Lieutenant Mary Sullivan and all her other fellow policewomen were at the time. In The Case of the Scheming Bridegroom, originally aired June 29, 1947, she poses as a woman answering an ad in the personals column of the local paper that may lead to a killer. Question is, will she solve the crime and put the killer behind bars before it's too late and she becomes his next victim? Then, our final show today is the ladies' version of those snappy private eyes like Pat Novak and the Saint. Here comes Candy Matson, an ex-Hollywood model turned sassy and smart detective. She never gets stopped, no matter how dangerous it may be. The series began on June 7, 1949, as a passenger sitting next to Candy on the ride home is discovered to be dead. Of course, she becomes the #1 suspect, so in order to clear her name, she sets out to solve the cable car case. And even though she has male friends to help her along the way, it's up to Candy to spot all the clues, solve the crime, and catch the criminal. All these women, as well as others, helped pave the way for future crime-solving women like V.R. Warshawski, Kinsey Milhone, Cagney and Lacey, policewoman Sergeant Pepper Anderson, and Jessica Fletcher. These early heroines of mystery and intrigue each prove you can be sweet and dainty and still be tough. You can be soft and delicate and hard as nails. And with the right amount of smarts, sass, commitment, and know-how, any woman can be a gumshoe and high heels. So today we will do our best to recreate these shows for you just as they aired, with music, sound effects, and more. Now while you are listening, you might pretend you're one of those who had the fortune of being in the live studio audience as they watch their favorite performers do their thing. Or perhaps you might wish to sit back, close your eyes, and imagine you are sitting in your living room in front of the old Philco radio, anxiously awaiting your favorite show to begin. So join us as we take you back to those thrilling days of yesteryear.
Ladies and gentlemen, quiet please. A murder has been committed.
Here's your chance to play detective. Philco Mysteries on the Air. The new, thrilling, exciting, chilling radio contest that pays you huge cash prizes for having fun. Every week at this same time over this station, your Philco radio tube dealer brings you transcribed the Philco Mystery Contest. $50,000 in cash for the winner. $50,000 in cash for solving simple mysteries. Weekly prizes, big grand prizes, a real contest of skill. Anybody can enter, nothing to buy. And you may win. All you need is the free Philco mystery book your Philco tube dealer will give you. Tools tells you all the amazing details. Shows you how easily you can win. Lists all the prizes. Contains free entry blanks. You cannot win without this book. Get your free copy right away. All ready? Got your thinking cap on? Then here goes Philco Radio Mystery number 1. Listen carefully. Keep your wits about you. Better have paper and pencil handy. Jot things down in your Philco mystery book, of course, if you already have it. And if you haven't, be sure you get it as soon as possible. Phyllis Coe, her friends call her Phil. Beautiful girl detective, daughter of the late Philip Coe, world-famous criminologist, is going to solve a mystery right before your ears. And then you're going to show how she did it. Come on, let's play detective. Your first case, the case of the dead magician.
Up there on the stage of the Regal Variety Theater, the great Umberto is just completing his clever manipulation of a pack of cards. The trick the magician is doing now is all the more amazing because Umberto is wearing a pair of gloves. There it is. Using only one hand with a lightning-quick gesture, he has fanned the whole pack out like a peacock's tail. It's a beautiful trick, and the audience appreciates Umberto's skill, and well they should. He takes a bow, and now he's taking off the gloves. He walks over to the wings, and with studied carelessness, he tosses the gloves to someone waiting off stage. And now, he's back in the center of the stage to make an announcement. The great Umberto.
Thank you, my friends. And now comes my most remarkable achievement. The illusion which has made me famous in 37 countries of the world. It gives me particular pride to perform my illusion this evening, because seated here before me in the front row is Miss Phyllis Coe, daughter of the world-famous criminologist, the late Philip Coe. Seated beside this charming lady is the well-known mystery novelist, Mr. Thomas Taylor. And now for my amazing illusion. A human being, a man or a woman from this audience, will sit himself upon this chair here on the stage. I will stand in front of this person with my back to the audience and have the lights put out for the merest instant. When the lights are on again, the person will have disappeared. Now, who will be so kind as to come up here on the stage to assist me? Please, someone, anyone. Ah, this young lady here.
Will I do, mister?
Perfectly, my dear. Come up these little steps, please. Allow me.
Thanks.
Now, will you kindly be seated upon this chair?
All right. Now what do I do?
You do nothing. It is I who will do. So, ladies and gentlemen, the young lady is seated, and now I stand in front of the young lady with my back to the audience. So, are you ready, my dear?
Okay, go ahead.
Now I will count to 3 slowly. On the count of 3, please flash all the lights off, and then on again instantly. Now I begin to count. 1, 2, 3!
But he has been shot. Now can all of you ushers and stage hands hear me?
Yes.
My name is Phyllis Coe. I am a criminologist. An amateur, but still I've had experience with these cases. I want you ushers and stage hands to guard all the exits.
All right. Okay.
Don't let anyone leave the theater.
Sure. Will one of you please go out and get the police?
Oh, I will.
Now, is there a doctor in the audience?
Yes, Miss Cole, I'm a doctor.
Oh, please come up here and examine this man.
Yeah, of course, immediately.
Phil!
What, Tom?
Are you sure you want to get mixed up in this?
Of course I do. It's my duty.
Well, I might get another novel out of this, but don't do anything rash, eh?
I won't. Don't worry. Well, doctor, what about it?
This man is dead. The bullet entered his chest on the right side. Who could have done this, Miss Cole?
It entered the body on the right side? Well, that girl could have done it. She was rather close to the magician, you remember.
The girl. Of course, it must have been the girl. Well, where is she?
She must have ran away. You over there, are you one of the stagehands?
Yes, ma'am. I'm Eddie Daniels, the property manager.
All right, Eddie. Stand by, will you please?
Sure.
I may want to ask you a few questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Tom,
Yes, sir.
right after the shot, I heard a gun thrown onto the stage. Will you look around for it, please?
Sure.
It's probably under the black curtain at the back of the stage.
Yep, you're right. Here it is. Shall I pick it up?
Yes, but do it with a handkerchief and examine the gun for fingerprints.
Righto.
Doctor, have you found anything of interest?
No, not much, Miss Cole. As I told you, the bullet entered the right side of his chest.
Yes.
And there are no powder marks or burns on the dress shirt or the coat.
Thank you very much, Doctor.
Oh, this is simply awful.
Please, please, you'll have to be quiet, miss.
I'm not a miss, I'm a widow. I'm Mrs. R.J. Brown.
Well, Mrs. Brown, I must ask you to be quiet.
How can I be quiet?
Phil, look out!
Boy, that was close.
You're telling me.
I'll say it was close, Mrs. Cole. That sandbag fell all the way down from the fly-off over the stage.
Where are the ropes that control these sandbags?
They're backstage. Well, come on back. I'll show you.
All right, lead the way, please.
I'm tagging along, Phil.
All right, Tom.
Oh, there. There, Miss Cole. Here are the ropes.
I see. And here's one that dropped the sandbag after it was loosened.
Well, whoever did it must be backstage here somewhere.
Who's back here? You may as well come out and show yourself.
All right, line up, the three of you.
Look out, Tom. He has a gun.
I'll drill the first one of you that moves. Get me?
Cut it out, Sam.
Shut up, Eddie. This is my business.
Eddie, you know this man?
Why, sure, it's Sam Boulevard. He plays the trombone in the orchestra. Oh, okay, Sam. Hand over that gun.
No, you don't. Get away, Eddie!
Eddie!
Ah, don't worry, Miss Cole. That gun's loaded with blanks for one of the dramatic sketches on this week's bill. Sam must have swiped it out of my property room up here. One move out of you, Sam, and I'll slug you.
Let's go, all go into the property room, Eddie.
Yeah, sure, Miss Cole.
All right, Sam, you first.
Okay, I'm going.
You come too, Eddie.
Yeah, sure.
And you, Tom?
And how?
Now, Sam, why did you drop that sandbag?
I wanted to scare you out of the theater.
Why? Did you shoot Umberto?
What if I did?
Did you or didn't you?
Yeah, I shot him, the dirty skunk. He deserved worse than that. Shooting was too good for him.
Never mind that. Where were you standing when you shot him?
Right behind him, down in the orchestra pit.
I see. And then you threw the gun up on the stage?
Yeah. And then I ducked out under the stage and through the door in the orchestra pit.
Tom, are there many fingerprints on the gun?
Matter of fact, darling, there don't seem to be any. The murderer probably wore gloves.
Thanks. Now, Eddie.
Yeah?
I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Sure.
You were backstage when the shooting occurred, so you might be able to help us clear up a few points.
Okay, Miss Cole.
What's the use of wasting any more time? I told you I shot the guy, didn't I?
Yes, but I still want to talk to Eddie. Now, Eddie, you said you are the property man, didn't you?
Yes, that's right.
And just what are your duties?
Well, it's my job to take care of the props. You know, anything that an actor handles on stage is called a prop. It may be a pack of cigarettes, a cane, a bunch of flowers, or anything. For instance, those gloves that Umberto threw to me.
I see. Where were you when Umberto was shot?
I was in the wings. I was waiting to take that chair off after his act.
You were there when the lights went out?
Yes, ma'am. I heard Umberto count 3, and then the shot was fired.
I see. All right, Eddie, thank you.
Let me go! I didn't do it, I tell you! I didn't do it! Get your hands off me!
That's what you say.
Hey, Captain, bring that girl over here, would you?
Okay, come on, you.
I didn't do it! Let me go! I didn't do it!
I found this girl running down 13th Street with a stage doorman chasing her. So I nabbed her and brought her in back here.
Thanks, officer. Go out on the stage, will you? You might be able to help.
Okay.
Sam, what are you doing here?
Well, Glinda, I shot Umberto, and they caught me.
Oh, no, Sam, you didn't do it. You didn't.
Now, wait a minute, Glinda. How do you know Sam?
Well, he's my boyfriend. We're going to be married, but he didn't do it. I did it. I shot Umberto.
Linda!
Mother!
What are you saying?
Mrs. Brown.
I heard what she just said. But she didn't do it, I tell you.
I did shoot him, Mom. I did. I did.
tell you, they're both crazy, Miss Coe. I tell you, I did it. Ain't that enough?
Well, this is the craziest murder I ever heard of. Everybody wants to go to jail.
Be quiet, Tom.
Yes, dear.
Now, Mrs. Brown.
I tell you, my daughter didn't do it. I shot Umberto.
Why?
Because 3 years ago I had another daughter, Glinda's younger sister. She met Umberto and fell in love with him, and one night they ran away together and got married. Then I began to get letters from my baby, heartbreaking letters. She said that her husband mistreated her, beat her terribly. Several months later, they sent her back to me. She had taken poison. I swore then that I'd get the man who killed my baby, and now I have had my revenge. That man is dead, and I killed him. I was sitting in the front row, and when the lights went out, I shot him and threw the gun up on the stage.
I was sitting in the audience too, Mrs. Brown, but I didn't see any flash when the shot was fired.
Of course you didn't. I tell you, I shot him because of what he did to my sister. I held the gun right against his chest and I fired.
You did not, Glinda.
Sam, I tell you, I did.
You women are both lying to save each other.
And Sam, you're lying to save Glinda. Oh, why don't you two stop it? I shot that beast, and I'm ready to take the consequences.
Mrs. Brown, there are no fingerprints on the gun.
Well, I wrapped the handkerchief around the gun. Yes, that's what I did.
You see, Miss Coe, you can see that my mother is lying. I did it, I tell you. I did it.
Now wait. Be quiet, all of you. Tom?
Yes, Phil?
Since you're holding the murder gun in your hand, I suggest you aim it at Eddie Daniels, the property man.
Oh? It's loaded, you know.
Of course, and if Eddie makes a move, you better pull the trigger.
Hey, wait a minute. What's the big idea?
My friends, Eddie Daniels is the only one in this room who could possibly have killed Umberto. Are you going to tell us about it, Eddie?
Yes, ma'am. I guess I might as well. Now that I look back on what I've said during the past 10 minutes, I can see that I made enough mistakes to hang an army. Yeah, I stood in the wings and shot that rat, Umberto, and chucked the gun out toward the curtains on the stage. Umberto seemed to have a way with young girls, and like Mrs. Brown here, I once had a daughter too. Well, come on, what are you waiting for?
So, Eddie Daniels, the property man, murdered the great Umberto. And you have just heard Phil Coe, the famous girl detective, find the murderer. Of course, you know how Phil Coe found it out. You heard everything that happened, and you know everything Phil knew. It ought to be very simple for you to point out why Phil Coe suspected Eddie. Can you? How good a detective are you? $50,000 in cash prizes are waiting for the best detectives among you to this program. Over 2,000 weekly prizes and 51 huge grand prizes in the Great Phil Coe Mystery Contest. It's all fully explained with fascinating details and diagrams in the Phil Coe Mystery Book, which your Phil Coe Tube radio dealer will give you free. If you haven't yours already, get it just as soon as you can. Then you can enter this easy contest that pays big cash rewards. There never was a simpler, easier, more exciting contest. Nothing to buy. Anybody can enter. This is a real contest of skill. Conciseness, clearness, neatness, and good common sense are the only things that count. Enter the Phil Coe Mystery Contest now. Go to your Phil Coe Tube dealer and get the free mystery book with the official entry blanks. Read the rules and directions carefully. Follow them exactly. Study the diagrams of the case of the dead magician. Then answer the simple question. Your answer may be the winner. Don't miss a single one of the Phil Coe Mysteries. Listen every week at this time over this station. Better be sure you have Phil Coe radio tubes in your set so that reception will be good and clear, and you won't miss a single important detail of any mystery program. You want to win some of that $50,000 in cash, don't you? Then get started. Be a detective. It's fun. Next week, Phil Coe, the girl detective, brings you another swell mystery, The Missing Masterpiece. Listen in at this same time over this same station. Read all about it beforehand in the free Phil Coe Mystery Book. We hope you win!
presents Policewoman. Tonight, the case of the scheming bridegroom, based on an episode in the career of Lieutenant Mary Sullivan for 35 years on the New York City Police Force.
Lieutenant Sullivan?
Yes.
They told me to speak to you.
Oh, who are you?
Bianca Reato.
And what's on your mind?
Well, you see, I want to get married and
Well, what you want is City Hall, young lady, not the police.
Oh, no, I do not make myself clear.
Apparently not.
Well, you see, I want to get married, so I read an ad in the Lonely Hearts magazine. Here, see this advertisement?
Oh, yes. Sounds like most of the others.
Oh, no, this one is different.
Then why don't you answer it?
I should like to, only I'm afraid.
Afraid? Afraid of what?
This man who looks for a wife, I think he's a murderer.
Before we continue with tonight's policewoman adventure, here is something we feel you should know about. If you're out driving and you see a train coming, would you try to beat it to the crossing? Of course not. Then friends, listen. Stop dosing your stomach with soda or alkalizers for indigestion if your trouble is irregularity. Instead, unblock your digestive tract for the real relief you want. For your real trouble is not in the stomach, but in the rest of your digestive tract, where 80% of your food is digested. And when the lower parts get blocked, food may fail to digest easily. Thus, for real relief, don't take soda or an alkalizer. You want something that will unblock your lower digestive tract. Something to clean it out, gently but effectively. Help nature get back on her feet. Get Carter's Pills right now. Because taken as directed, Carter's Pills gently and effectively unblock your digestive tract. This permits all 5 of nature's own digestive juices to mix better with your food. You'll get genuine relief from indigestion so you can feel really good again. Buy Carter's Pills at any drugstore, and let Carter's Pills unblock your digestive tract for real relief from indigestion due to irregularity. Now, back to Policewoman, the case of the scheming bridegroom.
Sergeant Clark.
Yes, ma'am.
Earlier today, a Bianca Rialto came to see me. It seems she works as a maid in an apartment on 5th Avenue.
Oh?
Well, about 6 months ago, there was a cook in the house named Frida. Both girls began answering those lovelorn ads. You know, the ones that appear in certain magazines.
No, sure. Wife wanted, you mean, so forth?
Yes. Well, Frida answered an ad and then left for California.
Yes, I can guess the rest of it, Mary. The man who sent for her was either a crook or wanted to cheat her out of her life savings.
Worse than that, Sergeant.
Oh? Murder?
Exactly. Now, Bianca gave me a full description and I started calling the California police. I learned that a girl answering Frida's description was found dead in Newtown, California about 6 months ago. Everything checks.
Did they catch the killer?
No. All they have are some fingerprints that were left on Frida's handbag.
Well, how come Bianca came to see you today?
Well, last night she ran across another advertisement in this Lonely Hearts magazine. The ad was identical with the one that Frida answered.
Oh, he shifted his operations in California to New York.
Right.
Does Bianca know what Frida's intended look like?
Yes, Frida showed her a picture. That's all she knows.
Well, there's the matter of the fingerprints.
Yes. Now, if I could get a sample...
Mary, don't tell me.
You're right, Sergeant. I need a husband desperately. So I'm answering that ad myself. Right away. Hello? Hello, Bianca? This is Lieutenant Mary Sullivan. Yes, I received an answer. The man's name is Pete Milford. We have a date tonight at a bar at 2445 East 14th Street. You got that? Yes, at 8 o'clock. Now, I want you to come into that bar. If you recognize Milford, I want you to say, Very hot tonight, isn't it? You get it? Very hot tonight, isn't it?
I tell you, Mary, you're kind of surprised me. I never thought you'd be such a pretty one.
Oh, Pete, you're not so bad yourself.
But like I was telling my Uncle Shorty, I don't mind if I get hitched now, and I don't mind if she's pretty.
Your Uncle Shorty? Who's he?
Well, he's my uncle on the Moss side.
Oh.
Before you and I can take the final steps, I guess Uncle Shorty's going to have to approve.
Yeah. Say, Pete, when we get, hitched, I mean, if and when we get married, where are we going to live, huh?
Well, I tell you, Mary, I got a hunk of farmland out west. Soil's not so bad, but it needs improvements.
Well, why haven't you made any then?
Got no money, Mary.
You expect to get any?
Well, I thought maybe the gal that I married, she'd have the money.
Oh.
Mind if I ask you, Mary, you gonna contribute something?
If and when we get hitched, why, yeah, sure.
I knew you were sweet, Mary. Hey, you know, I don't even have no picture of you.
Well, I got a little one here, Pete, if you'd like it.
Oh.
Well, yeah, I'll get an enlargement made, huh?
Swell.
Let's see, it's in my bag somewhere. Oh, yeah, here it is.
Oh, that's mighty pretty, Mary. Yeah, it looks just like you.
Now give it back to me.
Okay, but don't forget, I want that enlargement.
Sure. Oh, look, Pete, there's a friend of mine. A girlfriend. Hey, Bianca! Bianca, come here.
Mary, imagine meeting you here.
I want you should meet a friend of mine.
Oh, sure.
Fact is, you might say he's almost my fiancé.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Bianca, this here's Pete Milford.
Pete Milford. Glad to meet you.
Likewise, I'm sure.
Can you sit down with us?
No, I must be going right away.
Oh, come on, sit a while.
No, I can't. I'm not feeling too well. Very hot tonight, isn't it?
All right, Mary, give me the dope.
I've just got a few seconds now, Sergeant, so listen carefully.
Shoot.
That picture of myself on your desk?
Yeah?
It's got Pete Milford's fingerprints all over it. Now I want you to develop the prints and wire the complete set to Commissioner Williams, Newtown, California. You got that?
Yeah.
Have him wire back a report.
Now, where will you be in the meantime?
Well, I've got to meet Uncle Shorty.
Who?
Uncle Shorty.
Now, cut it out, Mary. I know everyone in your family. There's no Uncle
I can't
Shorty.
explain it now, but after I see Uncle Shorty, I'll call you back.
Mighty likable gal there, Pete.
I told you I can pick him, Uncle Shorty.
Oh, now you two stop that man talk.
Well, I'm happy for both of you. You want my blessing, you have it.
Gee, thanks, Uncle Shorty.
Say, well, when are you two planning to tie up?
Oh, pretty soon, a couple of days.
Oh, well, then why wait? How about eloping tonight?
Yeah, I never thought of that.
Listen, Pete, you're headed back to the farm after the wedding, aren't you?
Uh-huh.
Why don't you head out west tonight? I know a justice of the peace across the state line. He'd marry you in a minute. Then you go on to the farm.
Oh, Pete, that sounds so romantic.
Yeah, I guess I like that idea. Only, how do we do our traveling?
What? I got a station wagon, ain't I? Look, Mary, you head back to your house and get ready and come out here to Jamaica Bay. Round 8 tonight, I'll get the car into condition, take you and Pete to the parson.
Well, that sounds fine on the... I think we'd better make it tomorrow night. You see, Pete here, he's going to need some money for his farm. Well, I got the money for him, but except it's in the bank, and that's closed now.
Oh, I get you.
Yeah, in the morning I'll draw out the money. What do you got to say to that, Pete?
Mary, all I gotta say is things are working out mighty fine.
Hello, Sergeant. This is Mary Sullivan.
Where were you all day yesterday, Mary?
Well, it just so happens I was out at Jamaica Bay, and, oh, by the way, I'm going back there tonight. You see, Pete Milford will be with me tonight, and, I expect the payoff.
What?
Yeah. Now listen, the address is 47 Front Street. You got that?
Yeah.
It's way out in Brooklyn. It's a lonely spot, just the water and the house. That is, in case you're interested.
Well, sure I'm interested. But listen, Mary, I've got news too.
Oh, you have? Go ahead.
I got a report from California this morning.
Well, don't keep me in
The
suspense.
fingerprints found on the dead girl are not Pete Milford's. Mary? Mary, still there?
Yeah, I kind of expected something else.
Yeah, I know you did. Still going to keep that date with Pete?
Yeah. Oh, this is a setback, I admit, but I can't drop Pete until I'm sure.
Nice out here near the bay in the twilight, isn't it, Mary?
You know, I thought your Uncle Shorty was going to be waiting with his car.
Uncle Shorty went down the road for a while, pick up some tools.
Oh.
I'm, kind of glad we're alone.
Really?
Because we're going to be married. I think there's something you ought to know, Mary.
Oh? What's that, Pete?
Well, you see, I'm not much for book learning, Mary. In fact, I can hardly read or write.
I wouldn't hold that against a man. Wait a minute. You say you could hardly read or write?
Yeah, I hope it makes no difference.
Then who put that ad in the magazine and answered my letter, huh?
Oh, that was my Uncle Shorty's doing.
Now, Pete, listen carefully. Did you ever advertise for a wife before?
Huh? No.
You didn't advertise 6 months ago and ask the girl to come to California?
No, not me. I ain't never been to California.
What?
Well, you can trust me, Mary.
Well, now, Pete, I've got something to tell you. You see, I happen to be a policewoman.
What?
And I want to know the truth. Were you in California 6 months ago?
No, oh no, Mary, not me. My Uncle Shorty was, but not me.
You dope! Don't you know enough to keep your trap shut?
Uncle
Keep your hands up, policewoman. You know too much now.
Very smart scheme you cooked up, Shorty. 6 months ago, you placed an ad in a magazine under your nephew's name. It was answered by a girl named Frida. She came out west and you murdered her for her savings.
Save your breath, copper.
You knew the blame would point to Pete.
So what? I'll kill you both and blow this town.
We have other ideas, Shorty.
He's out cold, Sergeant.
Yeah. Lucky I didn't forget the address of this place. I was right outside and saw and heard it all. Hey, is that the guy that's been courting you?
Yeah, that's me.
Well, Pete, looks like you lost a wife.
Yeah, but we caught a murderer.
In just a moment, Mary Sullivan in person will tell you more about tonight's policewoman case. In the meantime, does your underarm deodorant really protect you and your clothes from offending others? Or are you half safe?
Or are you half safe?
Don't be half safe. Be Arid safe. Use Arid to be sure. No other deodorant tested, only Arid stops your perspiration and deodorizes you so completely yet so safely. Only new wonderful Arid protects you these 3 ways. 1. Arid really protects you from offending. 2. Arid really protects your clothes from offending and from stains by stopping perspiration. 3. Creamy Arid is safe for your skin and clothes. Gentle antiseptic. More nurses use Arid than any other deodorant. Don't be half safe.
Don't be half safe.
Be Arid safe. Use Arid to be sure.
To be sure.
To be sure. And now, here is Mary Sullivan.
Pete Milford was found to be the innocent dupe of his uncle and released. Uncle Shorty was executed for the vicious murder he committed. This is the last program of our current series. I want to thank my many listeners from coast to coast for their kind letters of interest, and hope they've enjoyed the show as much as I have. Until we meet again on air, this is Lieutenant Mary Sullivan saying, au revoir.
Thank you, Mary Sullivan. This program, as well as all other programs for the series, was based on an episode in the career of Lieutenant Mary Sullivan for 35 years on the New York City Police Force. This is Dick Dunn speaking. In the dramatic portion of tonight's policewoman case, leading roles were played by Betty Gard and Walter Vaughn. Policewoman is a Phillips H. Lord production. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
Hello, Yukon 28209. Yes, this is Candy Madsen.
Do you have a little unsolved murder in your home? Got some blackmail you want to unload? Are you the victim of some vulgar extortionist? Well, I know a girl you should meet. She may not be the greatest private eye in the world, and so what if she does cost you $300 or $400? She sure is sweet. She's Candy Madsen. Like to meet her?
Hello?
Hello, Candy Madsen?
Well, I wasn't sure when I looked in the mirror this morning.
You had a rough night, huh?
Oh, there have been rougher ones. Look, voice, before you get caught with my receiver down, who are you and what do you want?
As to who I am, you'll find out very shortly. And what I want is you.
How romantic! And over the phone yet.
Let me finish. What I want is you to lay off that cable car business.
Oh, that. Well, I'm afraid I can't. You see, I was sitting beside him when they discovered his transfer had been punched sort of permanently. That's how things happen with me. I get into the craziest routines. You see, I used to be a model. I'd been told I had the proper displacement for such a career. But I found there wasn't enough money in it. A girl has to maintain a nice apartment on Telegraph Hill, keep enough clothes to highlight the displacement I mentioned, and also eat, doesn't she? Sure. So I turned private eye. You meet a better class of people, mostly named Rigor or Mortis. Now, take this cable car deal. It's positively fantastic. But after all, this is radio, isn't it? Like to hear how the whole thing happened? Leave us trip along to Act 1. I wanted to get downtown that morning, but I couldn't take the F-car on Stockton. They were ripping up about 87 streets, which is par for the course. So I walked down Telegraph Hill and up to Mason. That's where the Bay and Powell cable car stops.
Well, boy, come on, Lila, show that shapely ankle. We gotta make the Fairmount by Whitsuntide.
The car was loaded, and so was the character next to me. I tried to budge into the seat between him and the Fisherman's Wharf Dowager, but I couldn't quite make it. I'd forgotten my shoehorn. Say, pardon me, but would you mind reading your Wall Street Journal over that-a-way a bit? I'd like to sit in here.
Oh, if you insist.
Ah, a night of old. He bunched his hips a quarter of an inch and I slipped in, ready for my rocket ride over the hill and down into town. The trip, as usual, was uneventful. 3 smashed fenders and several choice words I'd never heard before, but I wrote them down. By the time our prairie schooner reached the turntable at Market Street, the crowd on the car had thinned out, but Buster was still beside me, his head buried in Common and Preferred.
Market Street!
I started to get down.
Hey, lady, take your boyfriend with you. We're heading back up the hill.
Boyfriend? I'll sue! He looks like an advance man for Lewis and Clark.
How do you like that? He fell asleep over his stocks and bonds.
I looked again. Hipsy wasn't asleep. Hipsy was stone cold dead on Market. What a twist. I, who always went on the prowl for whodunit, get one literally tossed in my lap. He hadn't just gone out of this world serene-like. Oh, no. There was a steady slurp, slurp of blood trickling down his vest just north by northeast of the equator. After a half-hour wait full of questioning by homicide legben, I knew my morning shopping tour was rained out. And after all, I was only going to buy an emerald clip to match the glint in my eye. Well, that would have to wait. I knew the next step. I grabbed a cab home. I wasn't long in waiting. Right on cue. And if it was the right cue, it would be Lieutenant Ray Mallard from headquarters, daintily pressing his cuticles against my apartment buzzer. I was right.
What?
I've been expecting you. Come on in, Mallard.
You've been expecting me. Why, Candy?
Naive little rover boy, you. Have a drink?
No, I'm not in the mood. Just, make it a double.
Sit down, Mallard. Let's be civilized. Take off your hat.
It is off.
Oh.
Candy, for once, I'm puzzled.
Oh, you're just saying that.
Yeah, because it's true. I've checked and rechecked, and no matter how many loose ends I tie together, I still get no connection between you and Dwight Ellsworth.
Dwight Who'sworth?
Ellsworth, your extremely limp traveling companion on the cable this morning?
Mallard, I can give you an angle on that.
Yeah?
Yeah. The angle being that I don't know him from Adam.
Level.
Straight. Oh, look, honeypot, this mediocre dialogue is getting us nowhere. What did you haul your size 11s in here for?
Frankly, I don't know. Oh, here, fill it up, will you?
Well, you're not just going around in circles, Mallard. You're going around in doubles.
Yeah. Like I said before, Candy, you got a pretty view from here.
Oh, wait till I turn around.
I mean from your window. Look at that ship down there, just docking.
Hmm? Where?
Down there. There's romance for you. Probably just in from the Far East.
Here's your drink.
Oh, thanks.
You know, it is sort of romantic. Don't you think it would be fun to jump on a tramp like that and whisk off to the South Seas? On a honeymoon?
No.
That's what I thought. South Seas? Mallard?
Don't call me Mallard.
Oh, why not? We're just playing for ducks, aren't we?
Ah, very crisp. Playing for ducks. No, Candy, we weren't. Not in this case. We got a dead man on our hands. Rudy Toot-Toot shot right through the heart. And you were sitting next to him.
Yeah, sure. Go on now, get out of here.
What?
You heard me. Lift your hindquarters and get back to headquarters.
Candy, I don't like that look. You got something on your mind.
Yeah, but you wouldn't recognize it if I told you about it.
One word of warning. Don't dabble. You're in deep enough. Got it?
Got it. Here's your hat. Grab it. So long, Mallard. See you around the jailhouse sometime. 5-fo-fum. 'Twas then I smelled a big fat fee. That great big, kind of attractive Mallard. He missed the boat. Oh, he saw it, but he missed it. It was that ship he saw docking. That was the first time I came out of the dark since my Tudorville ride down the hill in the morning. I needed help, so I called an old friend of mine, if you can call that help. Rembrandt Watson was his name. He was a photographer and other things. He spent most of his life in a dark room, dabbling with bottles. His negatives and prints were sharp, his thought processes not quite. But he'd given me assistance in the past, so I called him.
Rembrandt Watson speaking. Photography, portraits, and camera wear.
Yes, Rembrandt, I know.
Also available for gardening, janitorial service, and babysitting.
Rembrandt, it's Candy.
Especially if they're over 21. Who? Candy?
Now you're tuned in.
How dare you, baggage? I was experimenting with a new type of formula.
90 proof or 100?
100. And Candy, it works beautifully. There's a delightful little pixie in a pink ballet skirt in my living room.
Well, leave her there and get over here immediately to my place. Take a cab, I'll pay for it.
I'd much rather have a handsome carriage with a brace of chestnuts.
You've got it in your head. Now just do as I say and get over here. Float in, Rembrandt.
Gladly. Where's the man to take me cloak, gloves, and topper?
You're wearing a sport coat and slacks, and you know I have no man.
And therein lies your basic trouble, my dear. You have no man.
No, Rembrandt.
Every man should have a woman. Every woman should have a man. It's the incontrovertible law of the universe. Candy, you should have a man.
You?
Sure, but I'm no longer a man. I'm a sprite transcending the world.
Well, stop transcending a moment and come down to earth. We've got a job to do.
How poetic, how idyllic. We've got a job to do. For money?
Eventually.
One of those. Very well, my dear. Bring me up to date.
Well, I don't really know if I can or not.
Good. Then I shall leave and return to me formula.
No. What I mean is the whole story is so fantastic you'd never believe it.
Well, I might. Try it, Candy.
Well, I get on a cable car and sit next to a character reading the Wall Street Journal.
Strange coupling, a cable car and the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, and when we get to the end of the line, my friend next to me is dead.
Probably the ride down the hill, frightened into death.
He looked like a used punchboard. He had a neat little bullet hole through his heart.
Candy, my little ballerina friend in the pink skirt is more believable than what you just told me.
I told you it was fantastic, but none of how it happened. Now, sooner or later, Mallard is going to come in out of his fog, and when he does, I am going to be out of a fee.
A fee that so far doesn't exist, my pretty.
It will, if my hunch is right. Now, here's what I want you to do. Go down to the Chronicle and get all the back files you can on Southern Island Steamship Company.
The Chronicle, a pleasure. I have a few questionable companions there who indulge in formulas.
Stay away from those companions and just do as I ask.
Oh, very well, my dove. I go, but entirely against my will. And where would you be?
Oh, around town, Rembrandt. I've got to do some legwork.
Let me assure you, Candy, you have just the right equipment for it, too.
What a joint. I'll bet they mount slick gullets on the walls instead of deer heads. Well, come on, Candy. Get your tools out and screw up your courage.
Yeah, Miss Wallaby.
Nothing right at the moment except information.
Well, information and water are both free. What do you want to know?
I'm looking for the purser off the Dwightsonius. I hear he does his shore duty in here.
That's right, me and Campbell. That head on the table over there belongs to him.
Thanks. Hello, sailor. Hey, Campbell, wake up.
Huh? Oh,
Come
leave
on.
me alone.
Come on, snap out of it.
Who are you? What do you want?
My name is Candy Matson. I want to ask a question.
I'm only drinking. Go away.
Not until I find out what I want to know. Dwight Ellsworth was murdered this morning.
What?
I thought that would bring you to.
That's the nicest news I've heard since VJ Day. Oh, what do you want to know?
Where does his brother live?
That stooge? He's got about as much spine as a water eel.
Never mind, I want to find him. He seems to keep his whereabouts as secret as an atomic stockpile.
Ask me, the whole family ought to be knocked off. He lives out at Seacliff, 25 Dashel Road.
Good. Bartender, buy my friend a little reward. And one for yourself, too. Well, so far so good. Oh, how did I know about Campbell the purser? Well, you see, I have quite a few friends, most of whom my pal Mallard doesn't approve. So, I grabbed a cab and navigated the driver out towards Seacliff. It was so foggy I couldn't see the meter. But I paid him anyway, gave him a neutral tip, and dismissed him. There it was, 25 Dashel Road. An austere-looking cabana, one that dared you to ring the front doorbell. I dared. I had the awful feeling I should have been around at the side door delivering hand laundry.
Good evening.
Well, except for the fog, yes. Is Mr. Ellsworth in?
Yes, he is, but I am afraid I must ask you to leave. There has been a death in the family.
I know. That's why I'm here.
Come in, please.
Thank you.
Walk this way, please.
Oh, I'm afraid I couldn't, even if I lived to be 100.
Mind your tongue, young lady. You're in the house of an Ellsworth.
Ooh, hoity-toity, the old babe had delusions of grandeur. Well, no need to get uppity with me. I've mingled with royalty. I once played a bit part in a Rita Hayworth picture. But this old gal was really something. She couldn't have been more than 45, yet looked like something out of the Barretts of Wimpole Street. She ushered me into a large ceiling living room, and there on the divan was my boy, his head lowered into his hands and quite obviously touched. Quite obviously.
Roger, this young lady is here to see you. I don't believe you mentioned your name.
Candy Matson.
Matson. You're in shipping too?
Of a sort.
This is my wife, Miss Matson. Pardon me if I don't seem hospitable. My brother was murdered this morning.
I know. I was sitting next to him when it happened.
You were?
Don't talk to her, Roger. I don't trust her. This whole thing is a threat of some kind.
No, it's not a threat. It's a business proposition. I'll come right to the point. You see, I'm a private detective.
Oh, one of those persons.
Put your nose back down, Mrs. Ellsworth. I want to get this show on the road. Yes, I'm a private detective, and I'm in a spot too. The police think I'm connected with the case in some way, so I'm here for a double purpose.
I'm listening, Miss Matson.
Roger, I forbid you to speak to this woman.
Too late, Mrs. Ellsworth. Now this is it. I'm in this business to make money. Give me a check now for $300, and I'll find out who killed your brother, and I'll also clear myself.
Roger, I'm warning you.
Naturally, you want to see the killer of your brother brought to justice, don't you, Mr. Ellsworth? Don't you?
Yes. Here, I'll make a check out right now.
Thanks. Just make it out to Candy Matson, payable today. Oh, lovely collection of guns you have, Mr. Ellsworth. You hunt much?
Yes. My wife and I are quite fond of shooting. She's an excellent shot. There you are.
Thank you. I'll be in touch with you sometime tomorrow. Mrs. E didn't say a word. She just stood there against the fireplace and shot sparks through me. After I waved the check in the air a few times to dry the ink, she showed me to the door.
Very clever, aren't you? Taking advantage of a weak-willed man.
I wonder who made him that way.
Don't cash that check. I mean it. Don't cash that check.
Mrs. Ellsworth, $300. I need the money badly. I need some new rolls for my player piano. I buzzed back downtown. I wanted to cash that check in a hurry. I knew of only one person who would give me the crisp green at that hour of the night. Uncle Charlie, the honest miller who ran the chase room. Uncle Charlie, in the strict sense of the word, was a gentleman. So, with a tender little pat on my cheek, he cashed the check, and I went up Telegraph Hill and home. All of a sudden, my eyes did a couple of inverted loops. Oh, my lights were on. Who's in here? All right, speak up.
Ah, Candy, light of my life, come join a party.
Oh, Rembrandt, you gave me a scare.
And you don't scare easy either, Candy.
What?
You got something on your mind?
And Mallard. Well, how ducky, a midnight soiree. What goes on here?
Well, the chicken you had in the icebox is delicious.
That was delicious. Looks like you've done everything but eat the bones.
Ooh, your vintage is superb too, Candy. Have a little formula.
No. Now, come on, what gives?
Well, that's my line, Candy. What gives? You're in on something and I want to know about it.
Oh, Mallard, believe me, it's nothing. I'm just trying to parlay a couple of hunches.
Oh, hunches. Look at all those clippings on the South Sea Island Steamship Company. What are they for?
I meant to tell you, Candy, I had remarkable success down to the Chronicle. There's everything you want on that steamship line.
Oh, Rembrandt, did you have to tell the whole world?
Candy, you chide me unnecessarily. I merely had the clippings on the table when Hawkshaw here walked in on me.
Okay, Candy, take it from there.
I can't tell you yet, Mallard. Nothing makes sense yet. I've got about 4 loose ends that need tying off.
I'd only put 2 men to follow you. I'd save myself a lot of grief.
2 days, that's all, Mallard. Just give me 2 days. I think I'll have it for you.
All right. But don't forget, the boys down at Kearney Street headquarters don't love you the way I do. 2 days, no more nor less. I gotta go. Thanks for the foul, chicken.
Yeah, very gay. Here, Rembrandt, here's $50 for you.
50, my word. What's all this talk about a recession?
Go on and take it. Go someplace and stabilize the economy. I went through the old newspaper clippings. It was all there. Fire at sea on Ellsworth ship. 2 seamen lost off Ellsworth ship near Honolulu. South Sea Island longship loses rudder in storm. On it went over a period of 3 years. I threw the papers back on the table, helped myself to some of Rembrandt's formula, turned down the lights and went out on the porch. The bay was dark except for an occasional path of light from a passing freighter. I sat down to think and think. Then, click, click, just like that, 2 little tumblers in my mind fell into place. The only thing to do, and that was to do it the hard way. The next morning, just as the ferry building siren was announcing 8 o'clock to downtown San Francisco, I got Rembrandt on the phone.
Candy, what on earth are you calling me for at this hour?
I can't help it, there's work to be done.
I did my work last night. so extremely well that I'm just going to bed now.
Sorry, you'll just have to delay your sack time. Meet me at the corner of Mason and Union in 10 minutes, right where the cable car stops.
Now what are we going to do?
We're going to take a cable car ride.
What? On one of those bouncing, junky little contraptions? Not the way I feel this morning.
Oh, yes, you are. Union and Mason in 10 minutes. All right, Rembrandt, get on.
This is the silliest thing we've ever done, Candy.
Maybe. We'll see. Dwight Ellsworth was already on the car when I got on here. And alive.
How could you tell?
He mumbled something when I asked him to move over.
Sounds logical. Although I once remember stumbling into a corpse who mumbled for hours after it had been liquidated.
Rembrandt was in one of his rambling moods, so I let him alone. The car pulled over Mason Street, down Washington, and then swung onto Powell and up the hill. Now I watched the buildings and apartments carefully. There was a little red brick building, now a big apartment house, a woman's residence club, and so on. Then over the hill, more apartments, and the possibilities petered out at Bush. Well, only one thing to do. Canvass all those blocks between Washington and Bush. Okay, Rembrandt, off the car.
It's the strangest corpse I ever did see. What did you say, Candy?
Off the car, come on.
Now what? I just want to get to bed.
Not for a long time, Boy Blue. Now here's the pitch. You take this building, and I'll take the next. We'll alternate as we go along. Asked if a tall woman with a horsey face and dressed something like Queen Victoria ever lived around here.
Oh, Candy.
I know it sounds wild, but it's got to be done.
A horse with a tall face and dressed something like...
Oh, Rembrandt, look at me. Get that smoke out of your brain. A tall woman with a horsey face and dressed something like Queen Victoria. You got it?
Got it.
Okay, get going. It was slow and tiresome, and the answers I got.
A tall gal dressed like Queen Victoria? Oh, sister.
That was about par.
No, nobody like that ever lived here.
Are you positive?
A dame who fits that description? Yeah, I'm positive.
The morning wore on, and so did we. We were over on the other side of California Street now, so we stopped and had a bite to eat. I had pickles with mine, and Rembrandt had olives, on toothpicks, in a glass. And again, we picked up the hunt. My heart was suddenly making with a Roomba. There, just on the other side of Clay, in front of a 3-story brick house, was a police squad car. There was a little knot of people gathered around. Daintily lifting my crinoline, I walked down the block and up the front steps. I didn't have any trouble finding the room. The door was wide open, and there was a body on the floor. 4 representatives of the law were buzzing back and forth. One of the buzzees was Mallard.
Well, my little ambassador of violence. Why is it you're always around the extremely dead?
I've got no time to bend the ad-libs, Mallard. Who is it?
Don't know yet. No identification.
Let me see.
Oh, a pen pal maybe?
I was right. I knew it.
Knew it? Knew what?
You're right. He was a pen pal. He wrote me a check last night for $300. His name is Roger Ellsworth.
Very interesting. Must be open season on Ellsworth's. Okay, Candy. Time you filled in the blanks. Start.
Wait a minute. I want to look at the window over here. Mallard, there are a couple of younger Ellsworths living around town here. I'm sure you'd like to see them stay healthy.
Yeah?
Get out to 25 Dashel Road and pick up an old crone also named Ellsworth. 5 will get you 20. She's the one you're after.
All right. But you get back to your place and stay put, understand? I want to have a more illuminating chat with you.
No, Mallard, I'm just like putty in your hands. The moon was coming up over Diablo and spraying a path of silver on the bay. Still no Mallard. I wondered what could be wrong. Well, this was it. This was the showdown.
Have you seen a tall face with a horsey woman?
Oh, Rembrandt.
Candy, I'm so mad at you I could... Oh, what's the use?
Now what's the matter?
What's the matter, she says. I've been roving all over Powell Street, ringing doorbells. Where did you go, you traitor?
Rembrandt, I'm sorry. In the excitement, I forgot all about you.
What excitement?
There's been another murder.
In a moment, there's going to be another. I'm looking right at you, Candy.
Oh, cool off, have some formula and stop snorting steam. What was that?
Your window. Candy, it just shattered.
What? Wait a minute, that window didn't shatter by itself. Quick, get the lights, Rembrandt. Now duck down here.
What sort of silly game are we playing now?
This isn't a game, believe me.
Candy! Candy, where are you?
Oh, yoinks, it's the gumshoe.
Yes, I'm all right. Where are you, Mallard?
Over here, 2 houses over. We've got your girlfriend trapped on the roof next to you. Don't move and stay covered.
Okay.
All right, Mrs. Ellsworth. Are you coming down peacefully? Or do we have to play cops and robbers?
I'm not coming down until I get that Candy Madsen. She did it. She forced me to kill my own husband.
Have it your way. Okay, loosen her up a bit, boys.
That was on the 4th of July.
Keep your head down, Rembrandt.
Was that what was up?
Ready to come down, Mrs. Ellsworth?
No, I'm not. That hateful woman, she's ruined my whole life. All my plans, just because of her snooping and prying. She's going to die, I tell you.
It was a miracle, Candy. You must have moved slightly just as she shot at you.
It was too close, I can tell you. She's dead?
Oh, decidedly. I think she was dead before she hit the ground. That one shot got her. We went out to her house, and she was just driving off when we got there. And we trailed her up to North Beach and lost her for a block, and then spotted her car at the top of the hill here. We arrived just as she was getting on the roof next door. Okay, now you tell me your little dream.
Well, it was that ship docking that set my wheels going around. The name Ellsworth started burning in back somewhere. You saw the clippings we dug up.
Yeah.
The South Sea Island steamship line was slowly being sabotaged. I did some checking and I found that the insurance companies weren't going to renew.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't tie that in sooner.
It's just that you had too many things on your mind, Mallard dear. I went out to the place on Dashiell Road, and when I left, I was pretty sure the old gal had knocked off her brother-in-law.
Why?
Well, for several reasons. One, she was a venomous old witch. Two, you've never seen such a collection of guns in all your life. And her husband admitted she was a darn good shot. I also saw one little pop gun that was very interesting. It had a silencer on it.
Uh-huh. That was the one she used on you.
And also the one she used on Dwight Ellsworth from the window of that apartment where you found her husband.
How do you know?
Go back there. You'll see a nice little bullet hole in the curtain with burned powder all around it.
Now, don't tell me that.
Yes, I'm telling you that she rented that place knowing that her brother-in-law always went downtown on a certain cable car. She waited that morning until we were riding by and she popped him.
I have now heard everything.
And the reason? Dwight Ellsworth, rather than fighting the insurance company, had decided to sell his steamship line. But the old gal thought she'd beat him to the punch by knocking him off. The steamship company would then fall into her husband's hands.
Yeah, well, what about her husband?
Well, after he gave me the check and I left, they evidently had a fearful row, and she spilled the beans. Somehow, she lured him down to that place on Powell and gave him some lead poisoning too. And that's all there is to it.
Candy, I wish you had told me all these things earlier. We might have been able to save the life of Roger Ellsworth.
It wouldn't do any good. Because if she hadn't killed him, I was going to.
What?
Mm-hmm. While I was waiting for you to get here, the phone rang. It was Uncle Charlie, the honest miller. That no-good Roger Ellsworth, his check bounced like a brand new golf ball. What is so funny, Mallard?
Listen in again to the further adventures of Candy Madsen, Girl Sucker.
Well, that's the way it goes. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. In this case, nobody did, except Rembrandt. He'd stocked his darkroom with $50 worth of formula. And not the kind you use on negatives either. Let's see. Murder on a cable car, Dwight and Roger Ellsworth done in as well as the old gal, one check that bounced. It really does sound fantastic, doesn't it? But I told you this was radio, didn't I? Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I did come out ahead at that. On the way out, Mallard leaned down and kissed me. The first time it ever happened. You know, sometimes it's kind of fun to be in the arms of the law.
Listen again next week at this same time for excitement and adventure. Just dial
Candy Matson, Yukon 28209.
Heard tonight were Helen Cleet, Jack Cahill, and Harry Bechtel. Jack Thomas as Rembrandt and Harry Leff as Mallard. The program stars Natalie Masters as Candy and is written and produced by Monty Masters. This has been a presentation of NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
Our show today, and the next time you see something wrong going on in the world, perhaps it's best left to the women to solve it. We've got a fantastic show coming up as we continue our season of celebrating women. This time, we'll be taking a look at women in comedy, featuring funny yet strong women who know how to stand their ground. Millie Bronson and Irma Peterson. Well, you know them better from their shows, Meet Millie and My Friend Irma. And it all happens Sunday, January 7th at 2 o'clock, right here at the Oak Park Arms. Throughout the season, we'll also be visiting Jack Benny and the gang, as well as celebrating women in politics, women in history, women in the war, and women changing the world. And it's all right here at the Oak Park Arms. So be sure to check our website at www.ttdyradio.com for the latest updates and show information. And now, the cast of those thrilling days of yesteryear. The supporting cast of Dave Amato, John Corona, Ben Dooley, Don Dingle, and Jay Howard. And our strong leading ladies, Val Lewinsky, Heidi Schultz, and Diane Bartolomeo. And no radio show would be complete without the synchronous sound effects stylings of Ben Dooley. Special thanks to the magnificent musical magic of Terry Tennis on piano. And I am your director for today's show, Pam Turlow. On behalf of the cast, we'd like to extend our thanks to you, the audience, for once again helping our show to come alive and for living those thrilling days of yesteryear so we could bring them back to you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I believe there are refreshments across in the lounge, so feel free to stop on by. And thanks again, and we will see you next year in January. Thank you so much.